Hey, how you guys doing? It's your boy Beasley back again with episode 4 of my How to Dynasty series. If you're new, this is the series in which I do a deep dive into everything CFB 26 Dynasty, tossing out tips and tricks and little information nuggets that I guarantee will impact your Dynasty experience. So if you're new, I appreciate you. Our videos have done so well in the last couple days. You know, the support has been through the roof. I appreciate y'all. Thank you so much. And if you don't know what the other episodes were, I will have them, on my channel. It's a playlist. Episode 1 was all about the best coach build and the best perks. You know, what generally to buy, what not to buy, and how they work. Episode 2 was about recruiting, how to recruit properly, how to find secret generational players. TLDR, the green gem, that's not all you got to go look for. Go watch that video for more tips and tricks. And the third video was about playbooks and aggressiveness with offense and defense and how those two factors kind of dictate most of your rebuild. So if you're not getting the success you want, it's probably because your aggressiveness is not high enough or your playbook's not good enough. But this episode is going to be about manual upgrades and what to look for, what to not do, and how to get as many 99 overalls as humanly possible. So if you learn anything in this video or you have learned anything from my past videos, slap a like on the video, leave me a comment. I appreciate it, and it helps with the YouTube algorithm. And without further ado, let's get into it. The first thing we're going to cover in this video is do not let overalls fool you. Overalls can be super giga inflated, and you could be upgrading the wrong stats on your player and not get the best results on the field. Now, mind you, if you're simming does not matter with abilities and your specific stats. Simming just strictly matters of overall and playbook and aggressiveness. So just so you're aware, that's how that works. However, if you do play the games, or you do watch your team in slow sim like I occasionally do in my streams, just to stop the boredom from us staring at the recruiting menu for the 15th millionth time, you need to watch your upgrades wisely. Here's why. So as you can see, my left tackle, Randy Sheets, great name. 5-star pass protecting freshman. He's a stud, right? He's a beast. He's a 99 beast. He's the best tackle ever, right? You flip over his card, right? And you check out his stats. This dude has 99 pass blocking through the moon and maxed awareness, which is for him is 95, but the highest I can go is 95. But notice his run blocking is a 68. His power is only an 83 strength, 82 impact, right? He's maxed overall, but he's by far from being the best possible left tackle he could possibly be. And if you're curious, the reason why that works that way is because of archetypes. Archetypes matter in reflection to their stats. Basically a watered down, formula you want to use to figure out what overall your player is going to be is what are their stats in their archetype, and that pretty much dictates their overall. So for example, a pass protecting tackle does not care about run blocking. So if you fully upgrade their run blocking, it will not change their overall. But YouTuber, but content creator, that can't be real. I always get those comments from people who don't understand when I test things and say things, there's a reason I say them. Case in point, Vernon Maddox, I don't. Vernon over here, saying names in this game is a whole job by itself. But as you can see, Vernon is a 79 overall pass protector with literally max run blocking. 99 run block, 98 run block finesse, 94 run block power. He's a 79. So when I tell you have to upgrade the stats that reflect their archetype, that's why. If you're strictly just going for the highest overall for best sim results or for, talent developer to get first round picks, you have to upgrade the stats that matter. If you waste time upgrading stats that don't matter, your players will not develop properly. That's why, in my opinion, I always play with manual upgrades, because when the CPU automatically upgrades themselves, they will spend the points in the wrong areas, or they will buy abilities, and abilities don't factor into sim. And I don't want to waste 20, 30, 40, 50 tokens on abilities when I need the stats. So there you go. That's a prime example of what I'm referring to, how just because they're a 99 overall doesn't mean you should be, oh my God, they're like, don't get me wrong. He is great pass blocking, right? He's a great pass blocking tackle. He's going to be awesome for the 2 years he's going to be here. He'll play his freshman year, and the next year he'll play and then go to the league because he's a 99. But this is applying to every archetype, to every build. You can just funnel their stats into whatever their primary stat is, plus IQ, and get a aggressively inflated overall. Now, personally, I don't really do this. What I do is I kind of balance them out to be as good as humanly possible. But that's just me, because when I do watch my team play, or when I do actually step in to play, which is far few and in between, but it does happen from time to time, I would like my left tackle to actually block somebody. I don't want my left tackle just trying to block a D end and getting tossed like a ragdoll. So I would recommend balancing your stuff out. But if you're never going to play, if you're just going to sim, just go for overall. The next tip I'm going to give you is called priming. You need to prime your future prospects. What does that mean? Now on stream, we called it a funnier word, but due to YouTube letting me know that I can't say that funny word in the video, it makes the joke less funny. But if you want to know what the actual word was that we came up with on the stream, do watch my last couple of Rice rebuilds. But more or less what priming is getting your player ready to become a god. As you can see, this receiver, Tavita Okada, you don't look like an Okada, but I'm not going to racially profile you, bud. You do you. Live your life. He's a 6'4" white guy who's 207 pounds with insane stats. 99 speed, 97 excel, 99 all catching and carrying, 99 all route running, all releases, 99 agility. You guys see the stats, right? You don't need me repeating the numbers that you see on the screen. He's a beast. He's a stud. He did not spawn this way, right? I had to mold him into being a super stud. How do you do that? Well, here's how. So we're going to take a person, Stephen Polk. He's not going to play this year. Or if he's going to play this year, he's going to play very little. I forget if he's my third or fourth string receiver, but either way, he is not meant to go pro this year, so we're not going to upgrade him. The reason why we're not going to upgrade him is because deal breakers are equal to the prospects overall. So if you have a prospect who's in the 70s, right, most of those deal breakers are going to be C's or B's. Whereas if I max him to a 99 right now, A, he might leave to go pro, which I don't want, and B, he might transfer out because I need like an A+. Now for his, it's PT. He's already an A+, so it's not going to impact him. But example, if it's like procs to home, let's say he's a Cali kid. You know, if I make him a 99 overall and for some reason he doesn't go pro, he's going to leave me because I'm nowhere near California. So how you generally get around deal breakers is by just not upgrading them. But you're going to have tokens, especially if you're rocking my coach build. You're going to get hundreds and hundreds of tokens every year. You have to spend them because the token cap is 255. You cannot get any XP after 255. That's the highest cap. So what I do to prime the receiver, or to prime, it's not really just receivers, it's any position, but for the example for the video, we're going to do receivers. To prime the receiver, I need to spend as many tokens as humanly possible, yet without inflating his overall. How do I do that? First of all, speed. Whatever their highest speed stat is, quickness, buy it. As you can see, the final tier for speed cost me 16 tokens. I bought everything I've already bought with tokens already spent. Keep that in mind. So he's maxed out in speed. And then once when I have speed maxed out, more or less, I either pump the rest of it in IQ until they're about an 80, 81, 82 overall, or if they're just drowning in tokens and they have 255 and I have to spend, I'll upgrade power. But power doesn't really help receivers that much. So you're more or less just burning tokens. Now at 111 tokens, I feel confident that I have enough tokens to save them for next year and still earn quite a bit of tokens. But let's say you're sitting at 255 and you spent 30 tokens to max out their speed. Now you're at 220 something and you still got to burn tokens, max out the power. Or, you know, if you want to, go for abilities if you have any available. Just spend your tokens for specifically the receiving archetype on quickness and power, because those two stats do inflate the overall the least. Now, again, it depends on the position, right? If you upgrade a lineman's power, for example, that will increase their overall, or a defensive lineman's power that will increase their overall, whereas a receiver or a corner, upgrading their power is not going to really impact that much. So when you see these players like Mr. Okada over here, just know I didn't get a biblical, you know, generational guy who spawned with 99 everything. He was probably really fast when he spawned. He probably had good hands when he spawned. Like, obviously, he had good stats, obviously. But his freshman year, he sat the bench just packing quickness and packing probably power and IQ. Then his sophomore year, I probably touched his elusiveness. And then his, you know, this year, I specifically upgraded his hands because now it's his time to go. So when you see my lineup and you see all of these 99s and you're like, oh my God, how do you get that? It's A, I know what stats to upgrade and what to prioritize. And don't worry, I'll let you know them too. But B, you have to prepare the future generations or the future players. You want to try, and again, it's hard because, you know, dynasty stuff happens, but you want to try and avoid having to constantly upgrade players for them to instantly play that year, right? Okada has sat my bench for 3 years. I had 99 receivers before him. And as you can see, I have a star dev guy right here, Stephen Polk, who's going to play next year. I have an elite dev, Malu Cho. What the heck? EA, what are these names? He's elite dev. He's sitting the bench this year. And then in a couple of years, Shane Simonson and Cole Anthrop, these two are going to eventually become these guys, and these guys are going to eventually become these guys. And it's a cycle. I'm shoving out 2 to 3 receivers into the league every single year. That means I have to prepare 2 or 3 receivers to get ready for the next year, which also means I have to recruit 2 to 3 receivers minimum to fill what I'm losing. If you don't believe me, check out my Rice rebuild. In fact, I might show a clip here of the insanity of if you know what you're doing. You could have, I think we had 27 or 30, no, I think it was 27 people drafted in one draft, which was just insane. So I actually found both of those clips, which is, I am amazed I still had them saved in my Xbox. The first one, I had 20 first-round picks drafted, I think a year or 2 ago in my East Carolina rebuild. And then for the Rice rebuild, if you include second and third rounders, I had 27 people drafted. I know, it was an insane moment in the stream. Shout out all 42 of you guys who were there live when it happened. It was insane. 11 people start on offense, 11 people start on defense. Kickers and punters sadly can't get drafted in this game, even if they're a 99 overall, which is dumb EA, but there's 11 people on offense and defense who start. That's 22. I had 27 people drafted. That means it more or less my backups and my rotational players also got drafted. So if you ever are questioning the info I'm giving you in these videos, I assure you it's been tested with my live streams, with, you can test them myself. I assure you everything I'm doing can 100% be replicated 100% of the time. All it takes, a little tips, little tricks, little knowledge, a little time, effort, and you got it, I promise. So yeah, if you want to, send 30 guys to the league every year, which that's a bit of an exaggeration. If you want to send at least 15 to 20 players to the league every year, these are the best tips for you. So I covered priming, how you should prepare future classes and future people ahead of time to upgrade speed and power. I have covered you need to properly upgrade the person's archetype to both inflect their, or to increase their overall, but you can't just neglect their other stats. Now I'm going to more or less give you a quick summary of the important stats of every single position. And if you want a more in-depth video, let me know. I maybe take a whole stream and explain this stuff. Or actually, you know what? I lied. For the comment emoji, for the comment thing of the video, down below, leave the hashtag 99 or gold 99 or something along those lines to know you're this far into the video. And let me know if you would like an in-depth breakdown of actual stats, because a lot of people don't understand the difference between 91 man coverage or 89 man coverage, or the difference between 90 throw deep and 91 throw deep. I can assure you there's a mountain of a difference between those two examples lifted. So maybe my next video I'll do is going to be an in-depth analysis of the actual stats, so that way you know what to look for. But yeah, with all that being said, here's the stats you should generally want to upgrade to both make your player as good as possible, but also, whenever you use them or slow sim or, just regular sim, they're going to be good generally. For quarterbacks, this is going to surprise absolutely nobody, but accuracies is a vital part. Which, by the way, speaking of priming people, Tremaine Sparks was primed. I gave him max speed his freshman year, and then I gave him max elusiveness the next year. This dude's insane. I might actually play some games with him just because this guy is just insane. But either way, accuracy, most important stat. Does not matter what archetype you have. All quarterbacks need accuracy. The second thing all quarterbacks need is IQ. If you strictly want to balloon their overall, again, for talent developer or for better sim results, do max IQ, do max accuracy. And if you have some skill points left over, slap some into power, right? If you can get them to, early 90s or mid 90s throw power, you'll be fine. As you can see, I stopped at 97. I could have kept going, but I really didn't feel the need because I kind of wanted to max out his elusiveness and speed. So there we go. But for quarterbacks, number one's accuracy, number two's IQ, three is power, and then after you got those three pretty comfortably handled, the rest kind of just fills in from there. For running backs, they have a little asterisk next to them, just like receivers will, and I'll explain this in a moment. But for running backs, depending on the archetype, for example, he's a north-south receiver, his best upgrades will be elusiveness, hands, and IQ. Now, I could have done route running, but I don't throw to my running back very much, and in my playbook, my running back doesn't catch the ball very much, so it doesn't really particularly help mine. So I would much rather have valued hands, IQ, elusiveness. Obviously, upgrade the speed if you can. If you're priming your players, he or she speed should already be maxed. Not going to assume genders in the big 2025, but they should already have their speed maxed. So going into their second and third year, it should be elusiveness, hands, IQ. Then you should be done from there. But there is one caveat for both receivers and running backs, and I'm going to show you. So as you just saw from the gentleman who I just upgraded his hands, it was catching and, what was it? I think it was carrying, catching traffic, spectacular catch, and regular catching. But now when you upgrade hands on I believe it's elusive bruisers and contact seekers. I could be wrong on the contact seeker, but I know there's a second archetype that has this. When you upgrade their hands, it's just carrying and just catching, which sucks because you're losing stats that should be going into him, but because you're not upgrading them, the overall will be harder. So my general recommendations is try to avoid elusive bruisers and contact seekers because a vast majority of their overall is tied to both power and elusiveness, and power is really expensive, right? 13 upgrade tokens for one notch is really expensive. Now, I can afford that because my players are getting hundreds of upgrades a year, or hundreds of tokens a year. But if you're getting like 40 to 50 tokens, you could blow your entire budget on just this one category, and your running back's going to be missing other stuff. So for most running backs, it's elusiveness, hands, and IQ. But for two archetypes specifically, it's elusiveness, power, IQ, and then hands is last. Hands, just get your carrying up to about 91, and after you get your carrying to 91, the rest is just extra. For receiver, I know this will shock absolutely nobody. I know you're going to be just absolutely, impressed at my ball knowledge here. But the best thing you could do for receivers is hands and route running. These two stats can literally implode a bum receiver by like 10 to 15 overall, just maxing out their hands and route running, or as far as you can. I had a receiver in my Hawaii only rebuild I'm doing, Hawaiian only Hawaii rebuild, try saying that 5 times fast, where he had like 81 or 80 speed, but he had insane hands and insane route running, and he was like a 91. Even with like 81 or 80 speed. He was absolutely slow as, my grandmother, but he could catch. So overall, there you go. But after you max out hands, route running, you're going to kind of get a trend here. IQ is always that like third or fourth thing you want to upgrade after you get the major stats upgraded. It's just a really good, it normally adds between, if you're unlucky with IQ, a couple overall to your player. If you're really lucky with IQ, maybe 5 or 6. It is very invaluable also on the field, but it's more there to like inflate the overall. Elusiveness, this is either a useless upgrade that's just there to flex that you have it, or it's a very integral upgrade, just like the running backs, how there's different things for different archetypes. If you upgrade your hands for most receivers, as you can see, it's catching traffic, spectacular catching, carrying. But if you have the weird receivers on your team, such as elusive route runners, when you upgrade their hands, they actually don't upgrade spec catch or catching traffic. You're just upgrading carrying and catching, just like the contact seeking running backs. So for these players, specifically this archetype, you don't want to do hands, route running, and IQ. You want to do route running, elusiveness, and IQ. Obviously, you need to have some catching and some carrying. That way your player doesn't have like butterfingers. Like shout out Derrick Henry. Dude's played 3 weeks in the NFL and I think he has like 3 or 4 fumbles. Crazy. Anyways, obviously get it high enough. Maybe, mid 80s is probably fine. But a bulk of his overall is going to come from route running, elusiveness, and IQ. So just keep that in mind. Generally speaking, most receivers, most running backs, you could get away with hands, IQ, and elusiveness, but there are some outliers that will kind of mesh that, so just keep that in mind. Next is going to be tight ends. Whether they're vertical threats, pretty much all of them, you just want to upgrade everything you can, right? The main difference, though, for overalls for tight ends, from my experience, is blocking. If you position swap a receiver to tight end like I have a 6'6", 214-pound receiver, or probably 210, but I moved him to tight end when I was 214, but I took a slow, gangly receiver and moved him to tight end. He fit very well. He actually gained, I think, 6 or 7 speed being at tight end. So I took a very slow, unproductive receiver and moved him to tight end, which is what I recommend most people to do. But because I can't upgrade his blocking, he's kind of hard capped at a 90. So even though he has insane stats, insane route running, just insane stats because he's a receiver at heart, he can't progress very well because he doesn't have blocking. Whereas compare this to my second string tight end, Joseph Smith, who's an actual tight end. And you can tell he's an actual tight end because he has the blocking stat. If you strictly want to just go for overall and you do not care about actually playing the games or slow simming these games or you know, what have you, you could just upgrade blocking and IQ and they will shoot up to like a 95, 96, 97 overall in no time. I don't like that. I like my tight ends to actually catch the ball. I know, crazy concept, but I like them to actually catch. So if you're curious why I'm not upgrading him right now, he's already an 87. If I maxed out his blocking and IQ, he'll probably jump to like a 96 and he'll go pro, and I kind of need him to be here next year so I can actually refill my tight end room. So yeah, but blocking, IQ, two highest stats to implode your tight ends overall, then do hands, route running. Try to stay away from quickness and power. If your tight end has like 75 speed, all due respect, my brother in Christ, he's not going anywhere anytime soon, so don't act like he needs to, right? Try to recruit tight ends who have at least 80 plus speed. That way you don't have to necessarily go down that path of just constantly upgrading it, because trust me, you'll need those points elsewhere. But same thing with power. Quickness, power, try to avoid these, upgrade the other 4, and you'll be fine. Linemen we've already covered, but I'll quickly cover them too. If they're a pass blocking lineman, I know, shocker, upgrade their pass blocking. If they're a raw strength lineman, you want to upgrade their run blocking and their power. Those two stats, for some reason, matter the most. I don't understand why run block power matters more than pass block power. I don't understand that, but generally speaking, from all the, you know, linemen I've done that are raw strength, regular power is really good, which, as you can see, I have it maxed out. Also, he's been primed. He has 99 stamina and 98 acceleration, so he's gonna be getting real fast. But power is number 1, run blocking is number 2, and then pass blocking and IQ are kind of an even split 3 and 4. So depending on, again, dev trait, this guy is an elite dev like everybody on my roster because I stay recruiting elite devs, good flex. But yeah, upgrade run blocking, then pass block, or power. Depends on the power, actually. I take that back. I only recommend upgrading the power if you have run blocking, pass blocking, and IQ maxed. If you're using a raw strength guy and you have these 3 categories maxed and he's not already a 99, then go power. But due to how expensive power is, I don't think it's good to just tell people to upgrade that first. So yeah, I retract my previous sentence mid-video. Do run blocking, pass blocking, IQ first, and whatever you have left, go into power. If he's not already a 99, he should be. For agile, where's an agile player? Here he is. For agile, these guys are also kind of weird. Obviously, run blocking, pass blocking, IQ, and power are good. But for specifically agile players, as you see in most other linemen, you can upgrade the quickness category, but they don't upgrade speed. For agile, you can. So I still recommend going run block, pass blocking, IQ, and then power. But if you're just swimming in tokens and you have stuff to burn, I highly recommend upgrading quickness, because that speed can get you. That can be several overall points there. But again, depending on the archetype, depending on what stats you need, upgrade the stats that matter, and results will be insane. Next, we're going to cover defensive line. Defensive line is really easy. As you can see, I have an Elite Dev sophomore 5-star D-end here, which, by the way, hard flex, 96 speed, by the way. 96 speed with platinum quick jump, almost platinum duress, and platinum pocket duress disruptor. If this was an online league, this guy would be a nuisance to society. Anywho, for defensive line, this applies for both D-end and D-tackle. This is really simple. Run stopping is objectively the best thing to upgrade. I don't understand why. I guess it has the most impactful stats, being tackle, pursuit, agility, and block shed, I guess. But regardless of the archetype, regardless of the position, if they play D-line and you are strictly going for high overall, max out that run support and you will just see them balloon 12, 15, 20 overall. It's insane. After run support, I would recommend IQ. Max out these 2 stats and your player should be high 90s, if not already in 99. And then more or less whatever else they need, you can go from there. My guy's a speed rusher, so I primed him, got his speed going, and he's a speed rusher. That inherently means he has higher finesse move than power move. Now, for my guy, for some ungodly reason, his only cap is in finesse move, so in hindsight, power move was the better choice here. but I recommend staying away from power. It's unless you have the tokens to burn, which I spent mine on platinum abilities, but unless you have tokens to burn, I would recommend doing D-line power last. Quickness is more important, run support's more important, IQ is more important, and obviously whatever power / finesse move you're doing is also more important. But that's the entire D-line, right? D-tackles are the exact same way. And before I get that obligatory comment, oh my god, you can't have a 300 pounder that's that quick, Beastly. DT, pure power, 4-star might I add, 4-star impact dev might I add. DT, 300 pounds. He has 93 speed. So don't miss me with that bullshit that you have to recruit certain people at certain archetypes for certain positions. No, just get the good players, and I assure you the good players will be good. Crazy novelty concept, I know, but that's how that works. Run stopping, max it out. IQ, max it out. Health, I don't really touch that. I play with injuries off. But if you play with injuries, just upgrade that to the point. You get the point. Then I maxed out his power, or power pass rushing, excuse me. My tongue's not working. And then we have power. So yeah, don't be like, Beastly, of course that defensive end's insanely fast. You took an athlete linebacker and moved him to the end, which, no, I didn't. But I can assure you, it's not just a fluke. As you can see, I have a second D-tackle who's also a 99, who's a 301 pounder. He's actually heavier, and he has 96 speed, 99 excel. He is insane. So yeah, do not feel like you have to position swap people. You just get the goons, get the gods, get the really good gamers, get the really good players, put them on your field, and if you upgrade them properly, if you prime them and do the steps required, I can assure you, you can just start mass printing draft picks like crazy. Next, we're going to cover linebackers. Linebackers are even easier than defensive linemen because it's pretty much the same thing as defensive linemen. I don't know why, but if you just fully commit to upgrading linebackers run stopping, that just inflates their overall so much. Right? This guy you're seeing on your screen, prior to me upgrading his run support, his IQ, and pass blocking, was like a 74, 75 overall. I upgraded his run stopping. He jumped from a mid to high 70s to a 92. Then by the time I upgrade his pass coverage and IQ, which by the way, pass coverage is capped, IQ isn't, he was already well over a 99 overall. So that didn't really matter. Just for shits and giggles, I figured he's already 99. The extra IQ is not going to matter. Might as well chunk it into speed. But yeah, for linebackers, it doesn't matter if it's your Mike, if it's your Will, or your Sam. If you're just going for overall, run stopping first, then IQ, then pass coverage, then speed. If you're trying to make your linebacker all around generally good, I would say get your run stopping to the high 80s, get your pass coverage, specifically your zone, to 91 or above, your IQ specifically 91 or above, and then if your guy's slow for some reason, upgrade the speed. But yeah, run support, then pass coverage and IQ, or run support, IQ, pass coverage. Just go with these three. After a few years, he should be really good. Don't recommend doing power or quickness unless you're just burning tokens because you're priming them. These positions don't really get much benefit from upgrading power and upgrading quickness. If your linebacker's already fast, like 86 to 88 speed, you don't really need to make them much faster. Obviously, it's a vanity. If you want to, go ahead. I'm not going to stop you, but generally speaking, you don't have to. And then pass rush, I play 4-3. My guys don't blitz. I don't touch this. It saves me points, saves me, stuff down the road. There you go. But that's generally all the linebackers. Just run support, then pass coverage and IQ, or run support, IQ, pass coverage. Just these three pretty much. And if you think that D-line and linebacker is simple, basically DB is the exact same. Does not matter if it's your strong safety or your free safety or your corner. Pretty much all DBs, upgrade the same way. If your guy's a box safety like he is, you want to upgrade, obviously, pass coverage because you get both zone, man, and press. Press doesn't really matter, but zone, big deal. Then you got IQ, as always, very important. But after you got the zone handled pretty well, after you got the IQ handled very well, go straight for run support. Run support, as you could probably guess, implodes the overall because he's a box specialist. He's meant to be in the box. After you get 91 zone, 91 awareness, 91 play rec, you can kind of go down run support. I have enough tokens to just max out everything I want. But that would be the order you would do. Box specialist, obviously for coverage safeties, you would do just pure zone, pure man. But as you can see, like this gentleman right here, David Aziz, he's a coverage specialist. Just do man, zone, he'll be fine. He'll be fine. If for some reason they're not capped out after maxing out their man zone, do run support. Run support's really good. And then if for some reason man, zone, and run support didn't max your guy out, upgrade their hands. But that applies to pretty much everybody, whether it's safeties or corners or strong safeties. The same thing. Man, zone. Once when you max out man, zone, then go for run support. After you max out run support, if for some weird reason they're not already a 99 overall, go for hands. The last thing you want to touch, especially for corners, is power. Power doesn't really help them at all. Safeties, it can help them if they're a run support safety. Obviously, higher hit power will help them there, but by and large, generally speaking, power is just something there to burn tokens. If you have them, burn them. If you don't, no big deal. And I don't really feel the need to have to say this, but just in case I do, for kickers and punters, kick power accuracy, I mean, duh. Like, I'll include it just because punters and kickers are people too, but just that they have 2 stats. This has nothing to do with the video. I have 23 Elite Dev players on my team, which is absolutely insane. So if you learned anything, if you have any questions, do tune in. I mean, yeah, watch the streams, but if you have any questions, let me know down below. I don't mind answering any questions. There is no such thing as a dumb question, just a dumb answer. Keep that in mind. Appreciate y'all. Much love. Next Saturday or September 23rd, or no, Monday. Next Monday, September 23rd, at the time of me recording this video, I will be doing a impromptu rebuild where my chat will, pick the team, and I will do everything I've incorporated from all of these videos into that, spontaneous rebuild. So if you don't believe me, if you don't think what I'm saying, what I'm preaching is true, pull up to the streams. I stream almost every day, 6 o'clock CST. I appreciate y'all. And let's go get into our shout outs on the Wall of Fame. Huge shout outs to every single one of you beautiful bastards who takes time out of your day to watch my videos, like my video, comment on my videos, and share my videos. I appreciate y'all. You guys mean the most to me. Huge shout out to Joseph, Ben, and everyone else who's pulled up, whether it's gifted donos or, memberships or what have you. I appreciate you guys. And as always, I hope you have a wonderful morning, evening, night, afternoon, or day, depending on whatever time you watch my content in the future. Like, comment, subscribe on YouTube, or me a follow or sub on Twitch. I'd greatly appreciate it. If you can, please become a member. It does help the channel out a ton, specifically me a ton. And you get cool perks in the Discord, VIP voting for future videos, future content, yada, 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 stuff like that. And you get to see my videos early. So shout outs to Captain True Grit and the few others who did get to watch the last video early, and you'll probably watch this video early too. So I appreciate y'all. Much love, and I'll see you when I see you. Deuces.